to inform your wagering decisions. My name is Alex Chan. My Twitter handle is Ian Lazarin. Thank you for joining us this evening again. I want to let you know about a promotion that we're running at BetQL. You can get 20% off any BetQL subscription at betql.co. Just use the promo code CHAN. You can gain access to a red hot model. The model had another successful weekend in football. Just to go over some of the winning 5-star bets that the model recommended over 48 in the Vikings-Packers game and under 46.5 in the Rams-Dolphins game. If you had the BetQL model, you would have been able to cash on both. In college football, there are a lot of winners this weekend for the model. Fresno State 2.5 was a game from last Thursday, actually. And the BetQL model pretty much went against the world. I think the world was on Colorado State in this game, including myself. And Fresno State ended up winning this game outright in a rout, and quite easily at that. The model also recommended under 81.5 in the UCF Houston game. That total would have went well under 81.5. Over 56 in the New Mexico San Jose State game, and over 56 in the Boston College Clemson game. So those all would have been winners that you would have been able to cash if you had access to the BetQL model. If you want to get access to the model for this upcoming weekend's games and this upcoming week's games, actually, we have a lot of football coming up with the MAC. We appear to have a Thursday night football game, though right before I came on, I did read about some news that's developing as to the Thursday game. But we have Pac-12 football opening this weekend as well. So certainly go subscribe to BetQL. Use the promo code CHAN so you can get 20% off any BetQL subscription. Well, the Packers and 49ers were scheduled to play this Thursday. The Packers were 2.5-point favorites against the 49ers, and the over-under is set at 51 total points. Unfortunately, right before I came on, apparently a news came out from the NFL that there were new COVID-19 infections, and the Green Bay Packers were one team that had reported somebody who had tested positive for COVID-19. So they're going to have to go into some serious quarantine procedures. So I think that this game is potentially at risk, given what the NFL has done in the past with other teams that have had players test positive for COVID-19. But if this game does move forward this Thursday, the 49ers will be playing without George Kittle and without Jimmy Garoppolo. It may be a good thing for the 49ers that they're not going to have Garoppolo for this game. Originally, I was probably going to take the points of the 49ers. Aaron Rodgers' history in San Francisco has not been particularly good. He was blown out in his 2 games at the 49ers last season as the Packers lost an NFC Championship game. They also lost a pretty prominent Monday night game last season. So I was originally going to take the points of the 49ers, but I think this is a game where you're just going to have to wait to see what the NFL does with it. If it gets rescheduled, that probably would change. That could potentially change how you want to bet this game. So I originally wanted to take the points of the 49ers, but given the news, I think it's probably prudent just to wait. I don't think the 49ers are right now in danger of not making the playoffs. They're suffering from the hangover of being the Super Bowl loser from the season before. However, they do match up incredibly well, or they have matched up in the past incredibly well with the Packers. The Packers are starting to revert back to the mean a little bit. They went through the first 5 weeks of the season without any turnovers, and that was always unsustainable. They've had 3 turnovers in two of their losses. So the Packers were able to get off to a hot start by playing mistake-free football, but that was clearly unsustainable, and the 49ers are a team that has certainly exploited the Packers' mistakes in the past. Aaron Rodgers just does not. One thing I always look at is how a QB has performed in the past on the road against certain team, and Rodgers' history, at least last season, was certainly checkered against the 49ers. But I'm going to wait on this game. There's too much uncertainty with whether it's going to be even be played or not. So I'm going to hold off until we get more news regarding what the NFL is going to do after the positive COVID diagnosis. The next game that we're going to review is the Seahawks and the Bills. The Seahawks are road favorites at 2.5 points. The over-under is set at 54. And when I first saw this line, I was shocked. I was shocked that the Seahawks would be favored in this game. The Bills are leading the NFC East right now. They only have 2 losses on the season. They've been relatively unimpressive. They've come down to earth, I suppose, the last 3 weeks, and they've certainly not looked as impressive as they did earlier in the season. Seattle has also won 10 straight games, or they've covered 10 straight games when they've had to play on the East Coast. Seattle has a ton of injuries, or at least they had a ton of injuries yesterday against the 49ers, and it didn't matter one bit. Chris Carson was injured. Jamal Adams was injured. A lot of significant Seahawks didn't play, and the Seahawks still managed to pretty much clap the 49ers. I think it's one of those things where anything that leads to the Seahawks putting the ball in the hands of Russell Wilson is a good thing for the Seahawks. Chris Carson's a very, very good running back, but if him being out means more plays being called for Russell Wilson, I trust Russell Wilson more than Chris Carson. However, I think that this is a game where I'm going to be taking the points for the Bills. The Bills have certainly come back down to earth after their incredibly hot start. They're not looking as dominant as they did earlier in the season. However, it's probably going to be incredibly cold in Buffalo. The Seahawks are going to be playing in a different time zone. I know that has not mattered the last 10 times Seattle has traveled to the East Coast, but I think these streaks have to end sometime, and I think it is going to end this weekend. The Seahawks have been pretty much winning every 50-50 game they've had, except for their game against the Cardinals. They didn't have a 50-50. They finally were able to score a blowout against a division opponent in the 49ers, who were going through a lot of bad things. But I think the Bills are a little undervalued here after struggling for a couple weeks. So I'm going to be taking the points with the Bills, and I don't see this line getting any better. I think that the Bills are probably going to be somewhat of a square dog this week, just because they're a home dog. They have a strong record, and with the Seahawks traveling all the way to a incredibly cold location in Buffalo. But I think the square dog may be the right call at this time. I'm going to be taking the points with the Bills. If you want to find out what the BetQL model has to say about the game, you should subscribe to. You can subscribe to it. Use the promo code CHAN to get 20% off any subscription. Weekly plans are available. Monthly plans are available. Annual plans are available as well. So go ahead and use the promo code CHAN, my last name. Get 20% off any subscription. It'll also give you the results of thousands and thousands of game simulations as well. We're going to be back tomorrow night at 8:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So until then, I wish you a good evening, and I wish you good luck on your bets. I'm going to watch the rest of this Monday Night Football game. So until then, we'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you for joining us this evening.